What if I told you some of the most unforgettable songs of 1974 came from artists you've probably never heard from again? They weren't just radio fillers, they were explosive, chart-climbing anthems that vanished almost as quickly as they arrived. No massive tour, no flashy comeback, just one lightning strike that lit up the airwaves and disappeared. These aren't your typical nostalgia picks. One of them came from a nun, another became a martial arts meme, and one even fooled America into thinking it was a British invasion classic. By the end of this video, you won't just remember these tracks. You'll wonder how they ever faded away. This song sounds like someone spinning the radio dial at lightning speed, and somehow, it works. Life is a Rock came out in 1974 and was packed with non-stop lyrics, name-dropping bands, songs, slogans, and DJs. It was like a pop culture checklist set to music. The voice behind the chaos? Joey Levine, who already had a history with catchy bubblegum hits. But Reunion wasn't really a band. It was a group of studio musicians brought together just to record this one song. There were no bandmates, no live shows, no follow-up single. It was all built for one purpose, to make a hit, and somehow, they nailed it. The song reached number 8 on the Billboard charts, even though no one could remember the group's name. It later popped up in fast food ads and TV shows, proof that even a made-up band could leave a real mark. Next, we slow things down, but stay right in 1974, with a song that brought British summer vibes from a place no one expected. But before we play the song, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on a future video, and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Now let's roll. Beach Baby sounded like the perfect slice of a sunny California summer. Surfboards, heartbreak, a teenage love story. It had everything you'd expect from an American beach hit. But here's the twist. The band behind it was British. In fact, the entire thing was recorded in London by a group of studio musicians who had never even seen the California coast. The song was written by John Carter and his wife Gillian, and they brought in singer Tony Burrows, who was already known for singing on other fake bands like Edison Lighthouse and Brotherhood of Man. Just like Reunion, the First Class wasn't a real touring group. It was another studio creation built around one great track. Still, Beach Baby hit hard. It reached number 4 in the US, making people think it came straight out of Los Angeles. Its lush harmonies and nostalgic feel made it one of 1974's most convincing illusions, a British-made beach dream that fooled just about everyone. Now, we shift from beaches to pews, for a hit song that came from a place no one expected, the church.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
In 1974, one of the biggest pop hits in America came from a nun. And no, this wasn't a parody or a novelty track, it was the Lord's Prayer, set to a full-blown rock arrangement. Sister Janet Mead, a Catholic nun from Australia, turned the ancient prayer into a soaring, emotional anthem, and it worked. The song shot to number 4 on the Billboard charts, making her the first nun to have a top 10 hit in the US. She didn't do it for fame. In fact, she donated all her royalties to charity and went back to her quiet life in Adelaide. No tours, no album push, no follow-up single chasing the charts. But for one moment, a song that millions had heard in church became a radio hit, loud, proud, and unlike anything else on the air. From the pulpit to the radio dial, Sister Janet proved that sometimes the most unexpected voices can break through. Next, let's head to a softer sound, one that quietly told a lonely story and became a surprise favorite across America.
Staying here with some friends and they've got lots of room.
Please Come to Boston isn't flashy. It's quiet, slow, and full of heartbreak, and that's exactly why it hits so hard. Dave Loggins wrote the song like a letter to someone he loved, asking her to join him as he drifted from city to city, chasing dreams that never quite worked out. The song hit number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became an anthem for anyone who ever left home chasing something bigger. And yet, the answer in the chorus is always the same. No, boy, won't you come home to me? It was simple, but it crushed people emotionally. Dave Loggins was actually the cousin of Kenny Loggins, but their careers went in very different directions. After this one breakout hit, Dave focused more on songwriting for others, working behind the scenes rather than chasing more hits of his own. Still, Please Come to Boston became a quiet classic covered by dozens of other artists and forever linked to that lonely feeling of wanting someone who won't follow. Let's take a turn now, from soft and sad to a song that brought Spain straight to American radio.
Eres tú, como una mañana.
In 1974, a song sung entirely in Spanish broke into the American charts, and it wasn't a crossover hit from a Latin pop star. It was Eres Tú by Mosadades, a vocal group from Spain who had just finished second in the Eurovision Song Contest the year before. The song wasn't flashy or loud, it was soft, emotional, and built around perfect harmonies. Even though many American listeners didn't speak Spanish, the feeling of the song came through clearly. It climbed all the way to number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, which was almost unheard of at the time for a non-English track. What made it even more special is that it didn't rely on a gimmick. No English remix, no celebrity backing, just pure melody and heart. Mosadades continued to release music in Europe and Latin America, but this was their one big moment in the US. To this day, Eres Tú still shows up in movies, talent shows, and playlists worldwide. A reminder that music can cross borders even without words people understand. Next, we shift from soft harmonies to a song that sounded like it came from a teenage garage but hit like a bomb. This one didn't sound like anything else on the radio. Rock On had a slow, echo-heavy beat, moody vocals, and a deep bass line that made it feel more like a dream than a rock song. And that's exactly why people noticed it. David Essex was already a teen idol in the UK, but this song gave him a breakout hit in the US, climbing to number 5 on the charts. It felt raw, stripped down, and a little eerie, especially with lyrics like, "Where do we go from here?" floating over that haunting groove. It became a cult classic, sampled in later hip-hop tracks and even covered by Michael Damian in the 80s. But for Essex himself, the US spotlight faded just as quickly as it arrived. He stayed a star in the UK, especially on stage, but never matched this strange, powerful hit in America. Rock On still feels like a song out of time, half rock anthem, half ghost story. Now, we jump from moody to cheerful with a song that turned a movie theme into an unexpected radio smash. This one doesn't have lyrics. No vocals, no band, no flashy performance, just a piano. But in 1974, The Entertainer somehow became a hit record thanks to a movie that brought ragtime back to life. Marvin Hamlish didn't write the piece. It was originally composed by Scott Joplin in 1902, but Hamlish rearranged it for the film The Sting, and suddenly this old-time piano tune was everywhere. It reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, making a 70-year-old song one of the year's biggest hits. For a generation who had never heard ragtime before, it sounded fresh and fun. And Marvin Hamlish, already known for film scores and show tunes, became the man who made ragtime cool again, if only for a moment. After that, Hamlish went back to the orchestra pit and Hollywood studios. But this one quirky hit gave him a rare moment of pop stardom. Next up, a soft love song sung by a man better known for acting than music.
Our time together.
Most people knew Cliff DeYoung as an actor. He was on Broadway, in TV shows, and later in big movies. But in 1974, he took a break from the screen and found himself with a hit song. My Sweet Lady was originally written and recorded by John Denver, but when Cliff released his version, it quietly climbed to number 17 on the Billboard charts. It was soft, sincere, and full of heart, exactly the kind of gentle love song that connected with people in the mid-70s. What made it stand out was the honesty in his voice. There was no big production or vocal tricks, just a simple melody and a quiet kind of charm. It was his only hit, and once it faded, Cliff returned to acting full-time. Still, for a brief moment, he stepped into the music world and left behind one beautiful track that still holds up. From quiet romance, we move to something louder, stranger, and far more deadly, at least in name. This song sounded like a Hollywood gangster movie packed into 3 minutes, and America ate it up. The night Chicago died was filled with sirens, shootouts, and a wild story about a police battle against Al Capone's men. Here's the catch. Paper Lace was a British band. They'd never even been to Chicago. In fact, most of the song's details are completely made up, but that didn't stop it from hitting number 1 on the Billboard charts in 1974. It was dramatic, catchy, and just strange enough to get stuck in your head. Paper Lace had other hits in the UK, but this was their only major success in the US. They tried to follow it up with more story songs, but nothing ever hit the same way. Still, for a band across the ocean, they created one of the most oddly unforgettable tracks in American pop history. Now, for our final track, a song with a beat that sparked a dance craze, a cultural wave, and one of the most famous one-hit wonders of all time.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
If you were alive in 1974, you definitely heard this song. Kung Fu Fighting came out of nowhere, and suddenly everyone was chopping the air and moving in slow motion. Carl Douglas recorded the song in just 10 minutes. It was meant to be a throwaway B-side, not the main track, but when DJs started playing it, the response was huge. The beat, the fighting sound effects, the catchy chorus, it all came together perfectly. The song hit number 1 in the US, the UK, and dozens of other countries, selling over 10 million copies. It also kicked off a wave of martial arts-themed media across the West, from movies to fashion. Carl Douglas tried to follow it up with more disco tracks, but nothing ever matched the impact of Kung Fu Fighting. Even today, it's instantly recognizable, funny, nostalgic, and strangely timeless. It's the perfect way to end this list of unforgettable songs that almost everyone forgot came from one-hit wonders. So there you have it, 10 songs from 1974 that lit up the charts, then vanished into history. Some were made by real bands, some by studio projects. A few were built on emotion, others on pure fun. But all of them did something most songs never do. They captured a moment so perfectly, they became unforgettable. You might have sung along without ever knowing who made them, or maybe you forgot these names entirely. But now you know the stories behind the songs, and just how strange, lucky, or random music success can be. Which of these tracks surprised you the most? And how many did you already know? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into forgotten music history, don't forget to subscribe. Because sometimes, the biggest songs come from the quietest corners of the past.